Hi, I'm Nat.
And I'm Guy.
And you go.
This is our second live stream. Anybody that tuned into our first one, we appreciate you sitting through it. I know it had to be hard because it was hard for me to watch it back. It was almost unbearable.
Well, we're still learning, and we do want to kind of keep all of these mistakes up because anybody can do it and just show progress as well.
Yeah, if there are any audio or visual issues, I would say let us know, but we don't even have a chat box at this point.
Yeah.
We're operating on the fly. But today we're going to talk about the Donald Trump debate,
Yes.
Kamala Harris.
From yesterday.
If you could like and subscribe, that would really help us out. We're an extremely small channel. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers, and that's a big goal for us. But let's get right into the Harris-Trump debate.
Yeah, so the debate yesterday, there were good parts, bad parts, but I think overall, Donald Trump could have probably done a little bit better, quite a bit better.
Okay, going into the debate, I was expecting him to absolutely annihilate Harris, mainly because I had a little bit of bias from how he annihilated Joe Biden. When the debate actually started to take place, she lied through her teeth but spoke very eloquently, so it made her look like she was telling the truth. He was kind of rambling on and he was angry, even though he was telling the truth. Because he was rambling on and angry, it made him look like he was lying. So directly after the debate, or while you were watching the debate, I think the average person had the impression that she won, he lost, which as a pure debate and by a traditional debate format, she did win, he did lose. The next day in the medium term, I think is something different.
And I do think a lot of people blamed, for example, the issues with the moderators and the fact that they seemed very biased because they kept correcting him and doing fact checks on whatever he said. But then when Kamala essentially lied through her teeth on a lot of things, is bringing up very, very old things, as Trump said, they wouldn't say anything. So it seemed like they were being a crutch to her. But at the same time, you can't just go around and blaming the moderators for it because Donald Trump did stumble and he did take the bait on a lot of the things that Kamala was saying.
Well, the issue was, I know he's going into the enemy's house and that it was going to be biased, so I expected that. But the fact that it was so biased, meaning they fact check him only, they never once fact Kamala Harris, and I know for a fact she lied on about 15 different things, and they didn't once fact check her. And when they did fact check Donald Trump, they blatantly lied. They would fact check him, say something's not true, and it was true, and he would push back, and they say it wasn't true. They're the fact checkers, so your typical average person that doesn't know politics is going to believe the fact checkers and not believe Donald Trump. The issue is the next morning. The next morning, Google's blowing it up with the main search term being Haitian migrants eating pets. So obviously people are fact checking what happened in the debate, and that's where Kamala Harris really lost the script. She's losing the medium term and long term battle because she's being fact checked. But the night of the debate, without a doubt, she won.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also don't go back and do their own fact checks. A lot of them might, and because of some alternative news sources or independent news sources, they might be encouraged to do so, but the average person will just leave the debate as it happens. So I do think it's important that now Kamala is saying that she might be open to or wanting another debate, because this could show the face of Donald Trump that we saw during the Biden debate, which was cool, calm, collected, and very knowledgeable. I mean, of course, he was standing next to a corpse, so that's not hard to do, but we've seen him do it, and now we've seen her do it. We've seen what she's capable of. So.
Well, I was going to get into this at the end, but you want to bring it up now? Yeah, she wants another debate. He went into ABC. The next one's going to be on Fox News, or he's not going to do it. She's riding high on the horse thinking she's smarter than him. Mm-hmm. So he's going to sit the terms. He's already said he wants either Sean Hannity or two of the other commentators from Fox News that he likes. So either he's going to get those commentators and get the format he likes. The format is going to be a town hall, meaning I'm not saying she had an earpiece in, but a lot of people are. And if she did in a town hall, it's going to be really hard to go off the cuff and give rehearsed answers.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there is the question of where does this essentially place Kamala now? is with regards to Trump.
Well, she obviously can't win based on her words. That's the best thing that came out of this debate for her. I think it let her know the polls aren't shifting. People are seeing through what she is, even though she obviously won the debate the night of the debate. The next day, nothing's shifting, and a lot of the medium-term videos and things that are coming out are in Trump's favor. What she's going to need to do, she only has one path to the presidency. And lucky for her, she had the best political advisor on her side last night, who was Donald Trump. He basically wrote out the roadmap for her. And what I mean by that, she needs to do 4 things, and he basically laid it out. Number one, she has to act, and she has to get Biden to resign the presidency. That's going to make her the primary person to get all the credit for the next thing she does.
Yeah.
So get Biden to resign the presidency. The next thing she needs to do is sign an executive order shutting down the border. She can do that with a stroke of the pen. The Democratic Party can pressure Biden to resign. So she can get those 2 things right out of the box. The next 2 things are a little bit harder, but she does have major control levers over it. She needs to get a 90-day ceasefire in Israel. Now, she's the one supplying Israel with money and weapons, and she's the one supplying Iran with money, who's buying Hamas weapons. So all she has to do to get a 90-day ceasefire is say she'll double the money, double the weapons if they have a 90-day ceasefire, or shut it down.
But wouldn't that be harder than, for example, solving the whole Ukraine thing, which, I mean,
No.
both parties seem to be...
that was number 3. Number 4 is she needs to have a peace negotiation in Ukraine and stop that war. Now, Russia's running away with that war right now. Anybody that knows anything about that war knows they're winning. So it's best for them to negotiate the best deal possible. She's in quite a pickle right now where she needs to win the election, and she can win the election off the back of stopping the Ukraine war. So Putin can get ideal circumstances and really get good terms for himself. Now, if Trump gets in office, Trump's claiming he's going to stop the war, but he's a much tougher negotiator. If Putin wants the best deal, he'll probably negotiate with Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So to review those 4 things, she needs Biden to resign the presidency. She has to sign the executive order for the border shutdown. She needs a 90-day ceasefire in Israel, and she has to end the Ukraine war.
And I mean, I was surprised, and I didn't really...
Well, if she does those 4 things,
Yes.
she wins the election, in my opinion. She can't talk anymore. Talking's not going to work for her. She has to take action, and she has to get credit for that action. She has to be the primary negotiator in a lot of those circumstances.
And the thing is, it would be so easy for her to do any of those steps, essentially. I mean, Biden's essentially not there anymore. And then all the other bits seem to be kind of aligning themselves, even with the Russia-Ukraine thing. I mean, I didn't really believe you when you said that Putin was apparently endorsing her, but apparently it is the best. Like, once you look at the actual situation and once you look at the implications of what it would mean for him, it's way more convenient for him to get everything on his terms and have her end the war and then get into power and then play along with whatever he wants to do than Trump.
Also, if he does negotiate some kind of peace negotiation in Ukraine with her with good terms, the U.S. is already wanting to turn towards China long term. So he can get the heat off of himself and Russia by negotiating terms that are favorable to him and turn the war machine's eyes to China.
Yeah, I mean, we know that where the interests lie within Kamala, and those are pretty easy to see. I mean, we know that they want to keep doing the wars, they want to keep doing that, but if she's able to stabilize it for even a little bit, I mean, she already has Dick Cheney on her side, which I am very surprised that Trump did not come out and say more about Dick Cheney and the fact that he's
that was the missed opportunity of a lifetime.
Opportunity.
I thought Dick Cheney was dead, and then I heard the other day that he had endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
So I was like, "What? He's alive?" So I checked up on him, and he's just taken over as CEO of Halliburton, which it seems like he goes in and out of that position constantly. But he's the biggest warmonger of everybody.
And Halliburton is one of the biggest contractor for military arms and military presence for the United States. So
the base of Kamala Harris leftist party has to just be cringing that 200 Republicans have endorsed her, plus Dick Cheney. The entire war machine is behind her. She's now outwardly supporting Israel, which I have no problem with, and Donald Trump would have no problem with. But Kamala Harris's base, does not like the fact that she was so pro-Israel last night. But like I said, she does need to get a ceasefire, and that's one of the reasons I think she was so pro-Israel last night.
Yeah. It was just amazing that the things that Donald Trump didn't pick up on just because he got so angry, and he did end up looking even a little bit older because he was too tied up in taking the bait that she was just handing to him instead of, saying points and talking truthfully and actually about the things that he needed to talk about.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring a couple things up here. There was an interesting thing. One of the things I said she needed to do was start acting, and she needs Biden to hand the presidency over to her and resign. And the issue is Donald Trump had something very interesting he said during the debate. He said, I'm going to tell you a secret. Biden hates Harris. And the next day, here's Biden with a Trump hat on. He knew he was putting the Trump hat on, and he was talking about during 9/11 there was bipartisanship, and somebody handed him the hat and said, here's the bipartisanship, and he put it on. So it's very interesting to see. That could be a hurdle. Biden may be very vindictive and not want her to maybe win the presidency, or just feel like he was thrown out of office. So for him to step down, they have to get him to step down willingly. I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that. So that's barrier one.
Well, I mean, is he even there? That's the thing. Like, they could literally just move him along on a wheelchair and say, okay, it's not your turn now anymore.
Well, the second thing I was going to say was step two was if she can get Biden to step down, she then needs to sign an executive order shutting down the border. The issue with that is there's a lot of speculating these illegal immigrants were allowed into the country and shipped into specific districts so they could vote. So if she thinks that she's going to lose that illegal voter base that maybe they were setting up, she's not going to want to sign that bill. And the Republicans currently are trying to get a bill passed through Congress that would make it illegal for illegal migrants to vote. Now, they're trying to put this on the back of a spending financial bill. I don't think the Democrats are going to approve of this, and it's going to be very telling if the Democrats turn this down, because the Republicans are offering them the world in order to get these illegal migrants not to vote. But that's the second part she needs to do and take action with, and it could be a huge hurdle. She might not want to lose those illegal voters.
I mean, it's crazy still to me that, I mean, I'm from Mexico, but in any other part of the world, you have to have some sort of ID to vote. I mean, it's institutionalized in literally every single other country. It still blows my mind that in the US, they're trying to get you not to need an ID or to identify yourself.
Well, the big thing is why illegals can vote. I know some people, I tell this, they chuckle and they think illegals can't vote. But the way they've gotten around this is they say in a lot of states, you don't need a voter ID. So all you have to do is show up and identify as a U.S. citizen. If you do that, then they let you vote. And illegal migrants are in the country, so not even knowing, maybe they're going to show up and be like, I identify as a U.S. citizen, and be allowed to vote, which would be absolutely crazy. There's an estimated between 11 and 25 million illegal immigrants within the United States right now, which these elections are so close. That many illegal immigrants voting, especially in certain districts, could really swing the election. But also I brought up the article here just of Liz and Dick Cheney, like lost puppy dogs, going to the Democratic Party. And man, I don't like the look of it for Kamala Harris. I think they should have said nothing, gave him the money that she wanted, and never endorsed her, because it's not helping her out in any way, shape, or form.
No, but I don't know if people are, conscious enough or even smart enough to figure out what that endorsement really means. Because again, like, many people might not know that he is so involved with Halliburton and the whole war machine still. I mean, a lot of people probably just see him as...
Well, here's the contrast. We have Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, and 200 Rhino Republicans that are like corrupt to the core government officials versus the Avengers. Any one of these people could have been president. You have Vivek Ramaswamy, who was almost the candidate. You had Tulsi Gabbard, who tore Kamala Harris a new whatever the last election cycle. Then you had Elon Musk, who could easily run for president. RFK, if you he should have been the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party if they wanted to win. They just don't like populism. And then you have JD Vance rounding it out. But you also have a lot of other independents and intellectual thinkers that are really rounding out this team of, it's really the new Republican Party, which isn't Republican at all.
Yeah.
It's almost libertarian and traditional liberal values.
Yeah, it's the old Democratic Party of 20, 25 years ago. And that's what a lot of people both aren't realizing, but others are. And that's, I think, why they're moving that way.
Okay, well, you got anything else about the debate here?
Well, I think for the next one, again, to bring it up again, I think Trump, one, needs to rehearse. Like, doing podcasts is not rehearsing.
Well, I would say this. I did think he was going to absolutely destroy her because he did podcast after podcast, hour after hour, and he went on a hostile podcasts, and I was like, I think he thought that was the prep, and he should have actually done more memorization and prep. I do have to admit, Kamala Harris sounded unlike she had ever sounded before. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she was handed the questions or she had an earpiece in, because she was just so confident, and she's never spoken like that. She usually sounds like an alcoholic.
Yeah, and I think this, and again, and just to round it out, Taylor Swift also just endorsed her. There was this whole fight between Swifties. I don't like Taylor Swift, but this whole fight between Swifties about, is she going to endorse Kamala? Does she like Donald Trump now? Because Brittany Mahomes, which is the wife of her husband's best friend or boyfriend's best friend, is Republican apparently. Like, now, is she going to be getting more like Swiftie support, more young women support? Because what I thought as a young woman is that Kamala Harris last night was the perfect candidate for anybody. That's number one issue is a woman. They just want a woman, any woman.
Well, here's the issue. She did so well in the debate, but it's not shifting the polls, and the Democratic base is living in a bubble. They don't understand what's going on. Her words don't matter. She has to take action. If she doesn't do the things that I said, she will not win the election. She has to take action at this point. Now, I'm for Donald Trump, so I hope she just continues with the hope and joy and doesn't take action. But that's me.
And I am worried about the women's vote, that some might be swayed a little bit more over to her. But I agree with you with what you said last night, that debates don't really move the needle as much as people think. I mean, in the polls, they can say that it did. But once the voting comes, I think the debates won't have as much impact as her actually either doing something or not doing anything and just continuing with her.
Well, I just, honestly, I'm not worried about the women vote because they're not voting for Trump. They're voting for RFK. They're voting for Elon Musk. They're voting for Tulsi Gabbard. This is the first time I remember in a presidential history that you really had this team of Avengers, any one of which you could have been president, and he's ready to assign them to different departments within the federal government in order to disassemble the federal government. And all these people have given long format interviews, 1 to 2 hours, talking about exactly how they would disassemble the FBI or the CIA or different departments within the government. They need to downsize the government. They want to localize the government and downsize the federal government. And women are going to be voting, even if they don't want to vote for Trump, they're voting for Gabbard and the rest of them.
True. Except the ones that are not very well informed. I guess we don't want to make it super long either, but thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Again, we're a growing channel. We want to keep doing lives.
Oh yeah, forgive us if the live stream is messed up in any way, shape, or form. We're just getting
we're still learning.
Our feet under us. We think the stream quality is a lot better today, hopefully, than it was yesterday.
Yes.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, and then for Spanish viewers, stay tuned. Van a ver más videos para gente que habla español, so there will have one thing for everyone. Thank you.